Test, test. I need to fix my mic. Hold on. I know I'm quiet. Hold on. Limiter. Noise suppression. Yeah. Gain. We put our gain up to like 15 decibels? Yeah. There we go. Hello! Wait, I'm loud? Okay. I sound good? Okay. Woo! I forgot. No. You never admit your mistakes, right? I didn't forget to stream, guys. I for sure didn't forget to stream. I didn't forget it was Friday when I woke up this morning. I didn't dive right into other work. Definitely no. Definitely didn't do that. You know. Oh! Thank you, Alphonse, for the membership over on YouTube. I don't know where my USB to plug in my phone to track my model is, so hold on. Hold on. Hi, Edda! Hello! Hi, Alphonse! Hi, Paradox! Hi, Merdragon! Whew. Or, now it's Merdragoon. Are you a Doki fan? Alright, let me put my phone in the USB and then track my model, open the USB, connect to phone, and there we go. Magic. Alright. VTube Studio has completely reset itself, including all my settings, so now I need to... Oh! Thank you, Edda, for the membership over on YouTube! Thank you! I appreciate it. Alright. Let's see how bad chatting is. No, chatting looks fine, other than the fact that I'm in the wrong position, but that's fine. That's fine. Hello, everyone. I totally, it's not even that I, like, overslept or anything. It's more, oh, okay. It's gonna be tech issues to stream, isn't it? It's more that, what's it called? Wi-Fi. Fine server. It's more that I forgot it was Friday. So, we are gonna... Should work now? Oh, haha, thank you VTube Studio for not showing my IP when I'm too stupid to hide it myself. Hello, everyone. Alright. What am I doing today? What are we doing today? YouTube. I need to open YouTube and Twitch. How is everyone? Thank you. Yeah, I do feel better than last week. So sorry for, like, the bummer stream last week. I didn't want to break my stream streak, but I was definitely in a rough patch. Now everything is going pretty well. I think my rough patch is over. But I am definitely taking care of myself. Don't you worry. Hi, Pumpkin. Hi. TA. Right now, I'm just in my monthly woman physical pain, but other than that, I'm fine. If you hear a little bit of, like, the rumbling of a heat pad, that is why. Other than that, I'm doing well. So, I'm kind of in, like, interesting crossroads. I had 2 VTuber company jobs that I thought I had in the bag. And unfortunately, both of them fell through. So that's all I'm gonna say. Don't ask me which companies or anything. It's not a big deal, you know. Still, you know, we're all on good terms, hoping to work with them in the future. Just like the timing didn't work out, right? So now I'm kind of tasked with figuring out what to do next for money. So currently the way I make an income is I manage independent talents, and then I also manage what's it called? And then I also do like corporate jobs, and I balance those 2. And then I also take commissions, but I'm behind on commissions. I apologize. That is the most that's on me. You know, commissions are I warn everyone who commissions from me that I do not have good timelines with commissions. But anyways, so in order to continue to give independent VTubers a fair price on my services, I need to have corporate jobs to keep my prices low enough. Right now, I charge $30 an hour for regular customers of my indie services, and then $50 if you just wanted like a one-time consultation. And I consider that to be reasonable. I don't want to rob from indie VTubers, like asking them to pay me like something like what would be like a living wage in California, because, you know, the reality is most people cannot pay another person's full-time salary off of their own salary. Like, the economy right now is not in a place where I can, like, ask people, yeah, can you just pay for me to live? You know? So what I do is, my real passion is managing indies. But what I'll do is I'll take some social media management jobs, I'll take project management jobs, to kind of supplement my income beyond the VTuber management, even though it is my passion. I would love to be like, at this point, I would love to be either a full-time brand manager or an event planner, but it has to be digital due to my health. Right before I decided to go back into VTuber management, I was actually looking at wedding planning jobs. And I thought that would be a lot of fun and very interesting. But then I realized I would have to be able to drive across country a lot for weddings, because wedding planners, they usually serve multiple states all at once. And they don't mind being able to travel long distances. And then the other thing is that you would have to be able to be obviously physically present, and my ability to be physically present is not reliable. So I know that I like planning things, and I know that I like encouraging people in large projects. I know that I like working with like aesthetic stuff, like brands, and I would love to learn more about brand management. So Indie management is kind of like rolling all of that into one. But it just I can't ask my current client base, which is regular independent VTubers who are not making like crazy bucks, to fork out a ton of cash for me weekly. So my current plan is to try and find like either a weird niche I can occupy in indie management that I can charge more for, or keep trying with the corpo jobs. But you know, it's a little tough. Yeah. You could try and go into general event planning, even have a good brand name, Yam with a plan. Aw, thank you. I've been applying for event planning jobs for about I've taken a 6-month break from planning, from applying to like regular like jobs on Indeed, LinkedIn, the like, you know. And I've really just been going for like VTuber, streamer, and tech related to it specific jobs, just because that's what my resume calls for now. And I've had a lot more success there. I've gotten a lot of... I would say there hasn't been a month where I didn't have some sort of interview or job offer. It's just kind of trying to find my place. And I'm gonna tell you, I am so tired of this. And I think I'm going to actually make a YouTube short on this. I never make YouTube shorts, but I think I'm gonna make a YouTube short on this. Let me say, I have a real big pet peeve that I didn't used to have about VTuber companies, but I have it now. I'm gonna get closer, so that you guys understand the gravity of this. I'm tired of being expected to do full-time work with all the benefits a company gets from getting me as a full-time employee, and still being called an independent contractor for a job that is years long. I'm tired of it. We need to stop agencies, VTuber companies. I'm tired of it. I need the industry to start having employees. Maybe there's like a legal thing I don't know about. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe it's international business related. I do not know. I do not know why we are all independent contractors, but I'm really tired of it. I'm really tired of it. I would really like for people to hold off on making VTuber agencies until they can actually pay everyone to be actual employees with basic employee rights, like the right to severance and benefits. I've literally never seen a... I don't know, Bad Bunch. I don't know how to fix it. I'm not like a business expert, but I really... It's the main thing that's pushing me out of VTubers. I'm honest. I can handle the pettiness. I can handle the drama. I can handle the lack of responsibility. I can handle VTubers being late because they overslept. I can handle one of my talents getting almost canceled I've handled those things in the past. It's not enough to scare me away from business. Or this industry, sorry. It is the fact that I have now... I'm not gonna say I'm an expert, right? I'm not gonna say I'm an expert. Every single time I tune in to someone like Giga or talk to other VTuber managers, I understand how much I have to learn. Thank you, Dragafina. Oh my gosh, almost 30 months. We're getting into real territory. Whoop whoop indeed. But yes. I wouldn't say I'm an expert. I have so much to learn still. And the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know, right? But this is something I really need people to heavily consider. Because I've seen a lot of people in the downfall of VShojo be like, oh my gosh, I could run a company so much better than the gun run. Hey guys, what if? What if VTuber agency? And I just wanna take them gently by the hands and say, how many employees with a full-time salary can you support? How many? I'm gonna say it right here, right now. I have never worked for a VTuber company with an HR representative. Oh, I did not expect to be spicy today. I thought we were gonna work on a script, and now I'm just crashing out over business practices. But I'm gonna I'll probably make a short. Thank you for following. Oh, Kento, hi. My NDA is going to expire soon to the worst company that I worked for, and trust me, that bunch, you're going to get a little bit of an analysis on how that went without many specifics or screenshots, because I don't want to hurt anyone involved. But, yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah. Thank you guys for the understanding. I want to be an employee somewhere so bad. I want to be able to say, yeah, I'm working part-time as an official employee for this official company. That's all I want. I want to be able to, you know, have that experience. And, I want contracts to be double-sided, where anything that I sign to protect the company, they've got to sign to protect me. You know, that kind of thing? It's just, why is that not, like... I think it's because it's, like, such a, I don't know, like a coveted industry that everyone's too afraid to ask for change, because if they ask for change, they're worried that they're not going to get the job. And honestly, a lot of companies are like, well, we can replace you in like a millisecond because there's 30 other managers that, you know, want to replace you in a heartbeat. So for me, at this point, I have matured enough to have a basic self-respect to say, no, I'm not going to take the wage you suggested. This is my base rate. I have a base rate. It's cited on my website. As for, like, contracts, I'm not afraid to now say, like, any protections that you guys want, you have to give to me, too. And I will say that having basic self-respect in a lot of VTuber interviews ruins your chances. Because they're like, well, we can just replace you with someone who doesn't have self-respect. And it's true! It's true that they can, because everyone wants to manage VTubers. Yeah. Araya Storytime asks, have you ever considered starting your own company to create the change you want to see? This is a very well-meaning question, and I do get it a lot. So I'm not gonna, like... I'm gonna try to not, like, stab you here with my words, but, I cannot start a company. And I do not want to. I mean, other than my small business, obviously. How do I put this? Even with $1 million of capital, it would be really, really difficult to start a company. And I have never seen, you know, I've never seen, let me say this. There are good companies, but I will say that the CEOs of good companies are the most stressed out people I've ever seen. So, I'm gonna say that unless the entire industry changes, it would be impossible for me to start a company. Specifically because I'm gonna say that unless you have another angle to the VTuber agency, VTuber agencies themselves are not profitable. I've seen them recently, well, I have also done a lot of comparisons to multi-channel networks, and I've done a lot of comparisons to esports teams. And we've seen booms and falls of both of those because people realized that they're either predatory or not profitable. And I feel like it is kind of the same thing with VTuber agencies. Now, there are ones that treat their talents right. I will say that at least we have, at this point, agencies that treat their talents like human beings. That is great. Are they long-term profitable? I have no clue. You know? Oh! Welcome to the Bat Bunch, Kume. Or Kume, sorry. My tones. Yeah. And I think it's because we assume... I think it's because we assume that somehow streaming revenue is reliable and profitable. And I can assure you that the setup of, like, relying on streaming revenue and just merchandise is not a good, it's not gonna make enough money to support the full-time staff necessary. And honestly, I feel like at this point, VTuber agencies have kind of backed themselves into a corner where the upkeep of them is so expensive that they kind of need to they've kind of backed themselves in a corner because they're like, oh, we need, like, we need these 3D debuts. Recently I learned that Doki Bird's 3D debut had a budget of $100,000. It's kind of not profitable, and like the standards of content at this point are so wild to the point where I'm like, how is anyone affording this? How is anyone affording this? Like, so yeah, sorry I answered your question so long-winded, but like, I kind of feel like no one's breaking even on the streaming stuff, so making a company around streamers is not a good idea. However, that is why I think if you have an interesting angle, I'm not trying to like break everyone's hope right now, if you have an interesting angle on a YouTube channel, we have seen YouTubers obviously make it on their own a lot. So taking, like, the VTuber out of the VTuber bubble and being like, how can we make your YouTube channel profitable? It is definitely doable. Which is why I have a lot more faith in indie management than I do, making a company, a bloated company with a bunch of legal troubles and, like, sketchy business practices just to kind of try to break even. But let me say, as a VTuber manager, whenever I work for a corpo, I do a lot more work for a lot less pay. And even when I'm doing, like, even when I'm giving indies, like, a non-living wage for myself, just to make sure that they're not giving me too much of their full-time job's salary, I do the very most important stuff for my indie talents. Just the bare minimum every week of what you could consider manager work. Looking for sponsorships, doing you know, doing research, just helping them plan content, giving advice, helping them with direction, design, basic stuff. I'm not moderating their chats, I'm not watching every single stream, I'm not planning merch drops for them, because in order to afford me, they kind of have to do a lot on their own. And I think what I have come to the conclusion of is the corporate standard for VTubers to produce that much content cannot be put on indies, because literally, it is literally too much for one person to... It's literally too much for one person to do on their own. So, as corpos are being shown to be unsustainable, my hope is that the indies coming out of these corpos will not stay at the same pace, the same crazy production quality as when they were in corpo. Like, I'm kind of begging them to, like, pump the brakes a bit. Just a little bit. So that the standard for the industry can go back to more sustainable. For the sake of... for the sake of everyone here. But, you know. I don't recommend you, like, try and go for the same target demographic as, like, the big indies for that exact reason. Yeah. I hope that they can, because I'm really worried that those freshly indie VTubers, they're gonna burn out so hard, because it's so much to manage a YouTube channel of that size. It's so much. Not if you're doing a different genre. Different genres of content have varying and vastly different amounts of setup, prep work, amount of people needed, that kind of thing. Okay, sorry. This actually is kind of a segue into what I actually wanted to do today, so let's go on over to gaming. I want to work on a either podcast or video essay script. I don't know which one it's gonna be, but I've had this in my head for weeks, and due to big fat projects, TM, I have not been able to get it out of my brain. So today, let's just work together, and I'm gonna show you guys my script writing process. Not from, yes, from start, not to finish, but yes, from start for sure. Let's go on over. Haha, this looks like a mess. And also my stream deck needs an update, so I have to manually place myself in the corner. Yippee! I'll do a podcast with you? Heck yeah, Etta! Everyone in the YouTube chat, if you see Etta, please subscribe. She has a really unique niche. She's actually kind of like doing educational history on her Germanic culture. I think it's super cool. And I've had the privilege to work with her on her design. So it's been awesome. She has a great concept. I really like her channel. Yeah. Thank you for tuning in. Okay. Let me try and figure out why the YouTube chat is like kind of on screen, kind of not. Is that a Firefox capture? Yes. Okay. All right, let's... Actually made a comment in the Discord before about how you started writing scripted videos, about to work, but super excited to see the VOD process. Everything you make is so timely important for the space. Thank you. Yeah. So let's work on a script together. Feel free to like just put me on in the background as you work on something else. It is also Analog August, guys. I would love to do a hand cam stream with you guys, but I completely forgot to stream today, so I did not set up a hand cam. We will get to the hand cam, hopefully sometime this week. Where is my Firefox capture? Window capture? Let's just use window capture. What's the worst that can happen? I mean, a lot bad can happen. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Okay, I have my window popped out here. Firefox. I'm struggling. I forgot how to do this. Okay, let me try. If I have it here, and then I go to window capture. Here it is. I figured it out. I'm so smart, Bat Bunch! So smart. Okay. Alright. Okay, first of all, dark mode. Second of all, how do I do this in a way that's not going to be blurry as heck? Alt. Yeah. I definitely feel like... I know that, like, we have New Year's resolutions and stuff, so I'm sure I'll get to talk more in a retrospective, but now that the year is halfway over, I'm gonna say that, honestly, 2025 has already been a huge year of me maturing. I've done a lot of maturing, a lot of thinking of, like, okay, well, heck, if I'm gonna actually do this, I need to actually, like, stand up for myself, have some self-respect, and, I'm gonna admit that a lot of that comes from having great people in my life that are older than me, such as Etta. She's been a great mentor for me. Princess Raska. A lot of my friends are great at just reminding me that, I deserve to be treated like a decent human being, and it's been great. So there's been a lot of maturing, and I hope that the VTuber space as a whole can mature and demand better for ourselves. Yeah. 2025 has been wild indeed. Yeah. Oh, thank you for the follow, Pat Panda. You deserve an extra bar of chocolate as a treat. I had a banana and a piece of chocolate as my breakfast. So I don't know about that. I don't want to eat any extra chocolate, but you know. Okay, so what do I want to kind of make this script about? The first thing I do when I have a script is you guys can't see the like title, but I like titled the thing just to kind of like the main idea. So the main idea today is just pro versus hobbyist versus corpo creator mentality. I have kind of wanted to do a video on this for a while just because I really feel like my advice on my channel is kind of scattered between whether it's for pros or hobbyists or corpo VTubers, and then I realized actually each of these groups should be given very different advice based on their mentality. So I feel like I need to make either a video or at least a podcast episode to reflect this, because I realize that a lot of like the advice I give really depends on what you're trying to do. For instance, I have a lot of hobbyist VTubers coming to me being like, I don't have a unique enough concept, and I'm like, if you're a hobbyist and you're just doing this for fun, you're not trying to like make this your job, just be the puppy girl with the pink hair, man. And I wish I said that, like, in the design video. You know? 'Cause, like, I have so many, like, hobbyist VTubers coming to me being like, I don't have a budget, and also I don't have, like, any resources to make a design that is worthy of your, like, video worksheet. Therefore, I just am not gonna be a VTuber. And I'm like, oh, hold on. I was using agency VTubers as an example there. And I feel bad for a lot of people who are trying to hold their hobby up to my professional standards. I'm not saying I'm a professional, I'm saying my standards are based on professional designers and professional VTubers, if that makes sense. So, I would like to add to my channel as a whole a big ol' disclaimer that you should know what mentality, which category you are in currently. Like, you can flip-flop from each one. I've been in every single one of these mindsets as my journey continues. I started as a hobbyist, and then my channel took off, and I went quote-unquote pro, and then my YouTube got thrown in jail, and my whole channel got demonetized, and that never got fixed, so then I had to go back to hobbyist. But then when I was in the hobbyist, I suddenly got a job in corpo, and then I got another job in corpo, so then I had a corpo mentality, and then I burnt out from corpo, and then I went back to hobbyist, but my channel is hobbyist, but I have a pro mentality for my clients. And then when I work for corpos, I put my corpo mentality back on. So, really, I would encourage everyone else to have, like, know what category they fit into, so that they don't pressure themselves unnecessarily with like the corpo-based standards while they're just trying to enjoy their hobby. And I also want the fans to do the same, because I see so many fans who are like, oh, are you gonna do this? 3D when? Blah, blah, blah. When I feel like, yeah. I feel like I am so much happier as a hobbyist creator, even though I have, like, what's it called? I have training in what it would... let's say someone puts a gun to my head and says, Yam, I need you to make your channel professional with meta advertising, and, I need you to grow this channel to, like, 20,000 subscribers. I know how to make a content plan to do that. I know how to play the meta for the week. The meta changes all the time, but, you know, I have proven that I can grow channels. I just don't want to do it to my own. I don't want to do it to myself, but I have the principles, the basics. I'm gonna say the basics of how to make a channel more professional. So now that I have the main idea here, I like to put a background section. Background is always like, why trust me on this? So I'm just like, I've done all 3 of these things throughout my career / hobby. Smile. I have a lot of emojis in my scripts that eventually get taken out. Okay, anyways. Then, I literally... Hi, placeholder shrimp! And yes, I would love to get back to my game project. I did not expect Music Box of Fate to open so many avenues for me in terms of music opportunities. So I'm a little, like, crazy in that regard, but, like, I have not forgotten about my project. I'd love to get back to it. And I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I've already recorded for 1 project. I have 2 more projects left to go. And, then I'm going to take some time for myself and what I actually want to do. Alright, so main idea and background. So now we go into the chapters. First of all, I want to talk about Hobbyist first, because I think it is the best. The best. Haha. Oh, thank you for the bat bits!
Edward Sigamaple cheered 500 bat bits. Speaking of, wanted to say thank you for sharing your art with us.
Oh yeah, of course. I have a lot of experience writing scripts. I have more experience writing scripts than actually making videos, because I just always keep making scripts and then I never make the videos because I don't like video editing. Alright, Hobbyist. I'm just gonna say it's the best. Pro. And Corpo. Okay. So now that I've got my chapters, then I want to do my conclusion. And yes, I do write a lot like a college essay, because guess what? That is where I learned to write essays. Okay, so conclusion. We're gonna do a recap. And then my final thoughts. Okay. Okay. So, I think we need to make this smaller now. So that you guys can see everything. Alright, there we go. Alright. Here we go. So hobbyist. What is the characteristics of a hobbyist? I'm gonna list them down here. So the first thing is no pressure. Create what you want when you want. No meta to play to. Can take risks. Don't need to worry about branding and PR. Can play with your friends. Reveal as much or as little of yourself as you want. Take extended breaks. No need for sponsorships. Can change content directions at any time. You don't need a singular niche. Don't need to keep up with all social media platforms in a on a schedule. There's like can risk more copyrighted material slash how do I say this without sounding like legally risky? Can play whatever games slash interact with whatever IP. Honestly. Downsides of a hobbyist. Majority will have no income and few viewers. Oh, the other thing. Free to use slash pay to use models, scuff setups. Yeah. Majority will have no income, few viewers. Harder to be taken seriously. Okay. Might feel like a waste of time because it's not a productive use of time. I'm gonna challenge this. No support is a good one. Thank you, Deckhand. No support in the stuff you wanna do coming from your own time and money. So yeah, that's more or less, like, for now, kind of like my rough draft summary of being a hobbyist. Pro indie. I'm gonna actually put aspiring pro indie. Because, honestly, gonna say it right now, I've never worked with an independent VTuber who has relied on their channel for well, that's not true. I've worked with plenty of indies who rely on their channel for their income, but I've never had someone make a livable wage off of their stream who worked with me in an indie setting. I've worked with creators in a corpo setting that could say that, but not an indie setting. Okay, aspiring pro indie. There's probably going to be some overlap. More freedom to create. Oh, you can't see this. Haha. More freedom to create what you want, but have to adhere to the audience / algorithm with the breadwinning content. So, specifically, I encourage all my indie VTubers to have what they consider their breadwinning content, their niche that gets the views, pays the bills. And then, as long as they're keeping up with their, like, breadwinning content, then they can have more freedom to create what they want. I would still say within PR limits. I wouldn't say that aspiring pro indies can and should make certain content, you know? Hi, Spidey. So, there's definitely more limits on aspiring pro. Oh, here's the other thing. Oh, I already kind of said that. Should act according to their brand and maintain good PR and a memorable identity. Identity of their choosing. Yeah, it's like the content meant for retaining your core audience or community. Yes. It is basically what can I be known for in a sentence, you know? For me, I absolutely love the fact that I can do it all now. As a hobbyist, I can upload a viola cover on my main YouTube channel. No one's gonna stop me. But when I was being an aspiring pro indie, and my channel got known for video essays, I felt like I had to drop the viola stuff, at least off of the main channel, because it would affect my video essay algorithm. Viola gang, rise up. Thank you. You guys are getting more viola content soon. I am practicing Music Box of Fate like a crazy person. I was supposed to record it yesterday, but then my hands got too sore from recording another thing. So hopefully I can record it soon. But yeah. So an aspiring pro indie has more freedom to create what they want, but it should be within PR limits. You don't want to, like, as a manager, you have to really make sure that your aspiring pro indie VTubers understand what would be bad optics. And you know what? It's not always what you think. I used to think that bad PR just meant, don't get political, don't give hot takes, that kind of thing, and it is not that simple. It is not that simple. There are hot takes that are actually good to share, because it actually will get you good PR, and there are, like, regular takes that no one says out loud because they'll get you bad PR. It is so much more complicated than just, understanding the, like, oh, just don't say anything controversial. It's not that way. It's a lot more complicated than just, what I used to think PR meant. And I'm still learning a lot. I would say an example for me is that a lot of my hot takes actually got me my audience. But a lot of other people's hot takes have ruined their streaming career altogether. And it has a lot more to do with time, place, and the general, what is it called? The general public opinion of justice. And it's really hard to know without, like, researching. So, a word of advice before giving a hot take: research it. Make sure you have all the facts. And make sure that the people who have said it before you were not, you know, how do I say this in a PG way? We're not harmed by sharing their hot take. It's a lot more complicated than I used to think. So yeah. Should act according to their brand and maintain good PR and a memorable identity. So memorable and polished identity. My personal feeling is that VTubers should start with a PNG scuff model and have a more unique identity, but honestly, I am going to be 100% real when I say this to the VTuber community, and I feel so sad for saying this, but there is a huge subsect of people that the quality of your art and rigging is the most important. It's honesty. It is very important to the VTuber audience that you have good art and rigging, and it's in the specific style that people like. And so, when I'm being honest with my aspiring pro indies, a lot of them have, like, great models, but that I like, but things also have to be sacrificed for the sake of their dreams. I'm gonna just say it, yeah. Making some creative sacrifices for the sake of better packaging yourself to an audience. Yeah. I'm at PNG right now, but I'm trying to learn to rig it. Good luck. Yeah. It's the first impression. A good model or art grabs the attention will cause those first interactions. Not just the first interactions. There are quite a subsect of people who, if a VTuber even just changes to their scuff PNG model, they'll actually not watch anymore. It's crazy. Model marketability is important to get an audience to make a living. Yeah. Advertising budget comes into play. A side hustle, merch, tea, coffee, that kind of stuff. Something you can sell to your audience. Yeah. What else did I say in the... Let's see, let me read the hobbyist category so I can then remind myself what is different between the two. Okay, don't have to worry about writing art. Can play with your friends. Here's the other thing. You can play with your friends, but it hinders growth. making other creator friends is encouraged. This is going to be a weird question. Would publishing a book be considered merch technically? Yes. Yes. So it counts anything that you publish under your brand that is marketed to your audience specifically is under that kind of merch side hustle-y umbrella. There are clothing creators who design clothing lines and their YouTube content is to make those clothing lines. It's something that is like the small business aspect of your channel. Because honestly, you need to make money off your channel beyond the ad revenue and the streamer donations. So having a side hustle of some sort to supplement and diversify your income is very important. So back when I was an aspiring pro indie, I wanted to specifically make candles. I wanted to make candles for you guys. I love making candles. I love giving them as gifts, and I make them out of all natural ingredients and stuff, but then I realized, like, it's too much of, like, a risk, to home make stuff and sell them on the internet. You have to have a lot of, like, good, it's good, because, like, if someone was, for whatever reason, like, selling a faulty product, it's good that we can, like, sue them for it, but at that point I was realizing, like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna sell these, yeah. Because it's too much of a risk that someone gets harmed by my product, blah blah blah. Homemaking stuff and selling it on the internet is really hard. Don't forget to open your window, and maybe don't do it in your bedroom, yes. I learned my lesson. Do it in your bed. Learned my lesson. A lot of creators actually write books. In fact, I'm gonna add that. Thank you. Writing a book. The other thing is, I wanted to like publish a how to become a VTuber guide, but then I also realized that's a lot of work. So I kind of gave up on that. Oh no, is my internet bad? Oh no. Okay, now we're good. Looks like we're good now. Alright. Alright. Okay. The other thing is, suppress parts of you. / stay encouraged to suppress parts of you / stay marketable. This is where it all fell apart for me, Bat Bunch. I don't want to do this. Haha. I don't want to do this. I don't want to stay marketable. No, sir. So that's kind of the hard part for me. I can definitely teach others how to be marketable, but I don't want to stay marketable myself. I would say that aspiring pro indies are in a, I'm just gonna call it a authenticity, but not too much paradox. Haha. Aspiring pro indies are in this, like, awful paradox where it's like everyone wants authenticity, but not too much. Especially in VTuber land. Yeah. What does it mean to stay marketable? I will give you a little bit of a rundown. Basically, it means that you emphasize the parts of your personality that people want to see, and you shove the ones that people don't want to see out of your content. And then also, if you are a young, well, not even a young, if you are a person who is using your attractiveness as part of your brand, it is not marketable to mention if you have a partner in real life. Which is why a lot of VTuber agencies more or less tell you not to talk about your family life. And I really don't like that. It feels yucky to me, but I talked about that in the previous Yammer time. So we're good on that. But yeah. I would say that with aspiring pro indies, like, you aren't held to the same standards as, say, a corpo VTuber. But even now, I'm suppressing parts of myself that are less marketable, as well as not divulging information. Like, for instance, like last week, I was really down on the dumps about a family issue plus like potential job offer that looked like it wasn't gonna happen, but I didn't like divulge that information with you guys because I was like, you know, that's my choice as a hobbyist on how much I want to give. However, I was still sad on main, right? And I still, like, let you guys know that I was sad on main. That is not marketable. Unless it is tied to a marketable event. For instance, let's say you are a VTuber who's tied to some sort of relevant internet drama. If you're sad about a relevant internet drama thing, it is marketable to talk about it. Or something that has good search results, like, you know, a current world event or something like that that will get you more clicks. Yes, it is marketable to be sad on main about that stuff. But then if it's just like, you know, something that isn't gonna get you good search results, being sad on main about it actually hinders your brand, and it's just like, it's yucky. It's yucky. It can be really yucky, guys. So, you know, when I say the authenticity, but not too much authenticity paradox, it's like, yeah, you think you know this creator because they talk about, like, their cursed food combination that they like to eat, and you think they're admitting something embarrassing about themselves, but really, that is, like, a good clip material for them to share that about themselves. It is part of themselves, but they also are sharing it because it is marketable. Whereas something, say, like, who they voted for, or, like a weird hot take that they have, or a moral difference than they have to the rest of the internet, that is not going to get them that same amount of, like, it is the same amount of authenticity, but it will actually harm their PR, their brand. Yeah. Another thing, it isn't marketable to be an activist on very big topics that can be messy, yes. For instance, I'm just gonna say it outright because I'm a hobbyist, haha, and this is my channel. I am a Christian, I am an outspoken Christian, and that influences my content in a very big way. I would say my views on parasocialism and romantic parasocialism, especially on the internet, are very influenced by the fact that I am a Christian and I believe that God designed romance to lead to marriage and stuff like that. So, like, consuming romance content on the internet can actually hinder with that goal. If you get what I say? If you get, like, what I'm saying, I respect other people's opinions on this, of course. I'm not going to force people to agree with me, obviously. And they can do what they want, because they have free will. God gave us free will and all that. But it is not marketable for me to be like, yeah, I'm against this stuff. Especially in the VTuber community, where it is very, very... It's a very big market, you know? So, that's kind of how you can tell that I'm a hobbyist and not an aspiring pro indie, because I have left the authenticity but not too much paradox, and I have more or less just been unmarketably authentic with you guys. If that makes sense. Let's say culture, religion, politics, opinions, who stay marketable. Yeah. So, I would honestly call this the sanding down of one's person. They make themselves smoother and easier to consume. In fact, I'm just gonna make that, like, they learn what parts of themselves are marketable, and sand themselves down to be smoother and easier to consume, less complex individual, more one-note character. That is kind of what you have to do. It's, you know, being a complex person with contradicting thoughts and biases is... That's another one. Bias. Being one note for entertainment is a really big part of learning your identity online. For instance, I am a avid... Okay, I've got like 3 streamers that I watch on a regular basis, okay? I watch Vinny Vinesauce, I watch Girl DM, and I watch Amelie. Those are my 3, like... over the years, I've watched them the whole time. Giga is another one that I'm starting to watch, but I'm really just a huge fan of her just chatting and less of her gameplay. I'm so sorry, Giga. Don't watch this, please. Don't watch. Why would Giga be watching my streams? But, you know, she knows all of this already. But yes, I love Amelie's streams. And I didn't used to. I watched her when I watched her Amelie, sorry, what is it called? Monarch debut. And she was, like, super in the villainous character. She was playing it up, and I'm like, I'm not, like, a lore fan. I'm not a character playing fan, blah, 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 blah. You know, I wasn't a fan of her at the beginning. Not to say, I've been a fan of her music, obviously. But, as the years went on, she found out that her scuff, like, people clipping her scuff was super popular, and then she started to clip her own scuff. And even though I didn't watch her streams anymore, I watched her shorts, because I was still subscribed, and the more she got known for that, the more she clipped it, and now it's like a huge part of her identity. Because it's marketable, so she plays that up more. She found her identity, her marketable identity as a streamer, and it's different than her marketable identity as a singer. And so she produces marketable shorts in the same humor style that are smoother and easier to consume. When you see Amelie on the shorts, when you scroll and you see Amelie on the shorts, my brain, my monkey brain, my bat brain says, yes, this is gonna be funny because she's going to have some sort of scuff in some sort of way. 75% of the time, I'm right. And that's what people are there for. So she takes her full identity as a full person, multifaceted person who is fantastic at singing and fantastic at storytelling, and she plays all different kinds of genres. She can have all types of different moods in her conversation. And she sands that down to the lady with the scuff for YouTube Shorts. She has learned how to market herself to YouTube Shorts, but her YouTube Shorts audience is going to see her as less of a complex individual and more of a one-note character. Kind of like a... Can I call her the Mr. Bean of the YouTube world? No, the Mr. Bean of the YouTube world is Chibidoki. Do you think Chibidoki acts like Chibidoki off stream all the time? Or do you think that is just like, oh, the more chaotic I act, the better my marketability is. The more people know me for this one thing, I'm going to lean into it harder. And that is how a character like Chibidoki is born. Does that make sense? So, aspiring pro indies, they have to learn what parts of themselves are marketable, play that up, and then sand themselves down to have less of the unmarketable traits, to be smoother and easier to consume, to grow an audience based on those marketable traits. Does that make sense? I hope so. Hopefully I can, rewatch this VOD and make the this makes sense in words when I actually write the script. Okay. What else? Let's see. Need a niche. Oh. Breadwinning content should be their niche. Yeah. Okay. What else? Take extended breaks. Oh, okay. Should try to schedule content out when they want to go on breaks. So they're still free to go on breaks. But should try to, like, bridge that gap of breaks with, with content that can be uploaded while they're gone. Let's see. Should have a niche and stay in that niche once they find a successful one. What else? Let's see. Always on the hunt for sponsorships. Gotta keep on that treadmill, yep. Algo likes regularity, so gotta work yourself into a break. Yeah, basically a lot of aspiring indies will... or aspiring pro indies will work twice as hard before a break. Because they're making double the content for you guys, yeah. Don't need social media. Okay. Play the social media game on all platforms. Sorry if this is unrelated, but I wanted to ask, how do you think creators that really value their privacy, aspiring pros or hobbyists, can go about the ID thing that would be happening? That would be great. Would creating an LLC thingy for your YouTube channel help out with not having to do the check, since you'd have your channel under the LLC? I cannot answer that, I'm sorry. Honestly, the whole, like, ID check thing has made me so sad that I haven't done any research into it yet. However, I do know that there are certain states in the United States that you can file an anonymous LLC with, so that the name and address associated with that LLC is not your legal name and address. It is with a proxy, the person who filed that LLC on your behalf, and there are law firms that are willing to do that in certain states. So definitely look into it. It could possibly be an avenue. However, reality is this isn't like something completely new, because YouTube, in order to have a monetized channel on YouTube, you've had to give them your license and your tax information for a long time now. Your government ID and tax information. So most creators have already given that information. So yeah, it sucks. I love privacy, but realistically, when you're dealing with taxes, you can't be private unless you are with a corporation. And in fact, that is something that's gonna go in the corporate. Yeah. What else? Let's see. Keep up with social media platforms. Can play whatever games and interact with whatever IP. That is still that is still true for aspiring pro indies. They don't really have limitations on the games and IP as long as they keep PR in mind. Because unfortunately in this day and age, you do have to research a little bit about the game and the public perception of the game before you go and play it on stream. So yeah, there's that. I feel really bad for some creators who were not aware of the reputation of the game that they played, or didn't know there was like AI art, or like the devs weren't treated fair, and then they feel like they have to answer or apologize for playing the title, you know? I love to see the anonymous LLC point messaged, even if you cannot cover it in detail. It is something I have looked into myself. It's just the cost I can't take on for now. That is my same issue. California is a little bit interesting when it comes to business cost. So I am looking into it, and I'm hoping at some point I can afford it. Anyways, let's see. Did I mention models yet? Yeah, you need 2 LLCs. That's exactly what is the problem. I'm so sorry, Dread. You're in the same exact boat as me. Yeah. Okay, you can play with your friends, but it hinders growth. Okay. Did I, need a high quality marketable model with general appeal. Typically need. There are like a few exceptions, but generally you want a high quality marketable model with general appeal if you are an aspiring pro. And that is the heartbreaking part for me, because I feel like a lot of aspiring pros, when they go from hobby to aspiring pro or pro, they kind of sand down what made their character design interesting to me in order to fit the standard. Which is always sad. I've noticed over the years that my favorite models usually come out of the hobbyists. Just gonna be real. Yeah. And let me tell you, when I was an aspiring pro indie and I did not have the high quality marketable model, I will tell you I got told about that all the time. That Yam 1.0 looked stiff, it looked weird at some angles, your nose is gross. I don't know what you are. What is your VTuber character supposed to be? Is it a sheep? Is it a monster? Is it a dragon? I got it all. Okay. People expect high quality models with general appeal, and if they don't get it, they're gonna complain. So, like, with my old videos that have like 500,000 views on them, 250,000 views on them, I still get comments saying, when are you gonna upgrade models? And I'm just like, buddy, apparently you don't watch me, because I upgraded models a while ago. But some people just can't watch my old model. It's like an unfortunate reality. I'm gonna just maybe say, although indie creators are more free than their corporate counterparts, they have to wrestle with the fact that they must make sacrifices in order to make it to where they want to be. Change models, change niches, give up collabing with their friends for collabing with other creators in their target demographic. For instance, I have a lot of friends. In the VTuber sphere. We don't have the same target demographic. So, for a quote-unquote successful collab, it would be bad for us to collab. Because, like, let's say my friend only plays Apex on stream. That is their niche, and my niche is to, I don't know what my niche is anymore, but like when I was pro, my niche was making educational content. If we both play, say, Stardew Valley on stream, no one's gonna be like, yeah, this is the content I came for, because we're not interacting with our chats like usual. We're not playing the games that people come to us like usual. And we're also, like, although we're friends, we're not, like, we don't even have the same target demographic. So the chats are mismatched anyways, and there's not going to be a lot of crossover of, like, following chat members anyways, so it's not a productive collab. Okay, bye, Dread. So technically it makes no sense to collaborate with that friend on stream. And that is so sad, you know? That's so sad. That's why, again, hobbyist equals the best. I'm sorry, it just is. If you want to have the most fun VTubing, be a hobbyist. And that might be easier for me to say, because technically I have an audience where I can be a hobbyist already. Like, I know a lot of friends who are hobbyists, and they're like, I have no viewers, and sometimes that really gets to me. So I can say for that, like, if the viewers are important to you, enough for you to make sacrifices about your own creativity and having to come to terms with parts of you not being marketable and the audience being there is more important. Aspiring pro indie might be like your category, but for me, I am blessed enough, I'm very blessed to have all of you here. People want to show up for what my non-marketable content. Now will I say that the meta might be go aspiring pro, be marketable for a bit, and then you find a community, and then you switch to hobby? That might be true. That might be true, because being aspiring pro is what got me my audience. I grinded. Have to grind without the same resources as a corpo and work even harder than corpo VTubers just to get noticed slash given business opportunities. So yeah, I would say there is definitely, I would say aspiring pro indie is the hardest place to be, work ethic wise. I wouldn't say unmarketable for some of your content, it's just more difficult to reach the target audience. No, this is not marketable. I would say if I wanted to be marketable, I would have already had the script and I would have already, like, what is it called? I wouldn't have gone on an angry rant with no specifics at the beginning of stream, and I also would have had my model ready, and I also would have started on time. I started 2 hours late. There's a lot of things that I do as a hobbyist that are a terrible example to my aspiring pro indies. In fact, I was talking to Leo, my boyfriend. Another thing that's not marketable about me is I have a boyfriend. And I was literally talking to Leo this morning saying, maybe my channel is actually an anti-advertisement for my VTuber management services. There are a lot of cool VTuber managers that actually can stream and build an audience to prove that their points work and stuff, and that is not me. The more I stream, the less audience I have, and that is a good thing for me. But like also it's like what's it called? My channel is an exact example of what not to do as an aspiring pro. I am none of this anymore, and I am having so much fun, but the fact that I not only showed up to stream with no plan, but I also showed up to stream 2 hours late, and I had nothing set up. I didn't do a going live tweet. I didn't even start my stream in a way that would make more people tune in. I did nothing. No marketable thumbnail, no marketable title. So I feel like my approach to streaming is an absolute, like, contradiction to my job. It's like an anti-advertisement for my VTuber management services. Because of the way I run my channel now. I'm having so much fun, and it's way more, it's better for me. Like, here's another thing. Hobbyists can focus on only the parts they like and the parts that feed their soul and throw the rest out. And that's why I like being a hobbyist the most. I got rid of all the parts I don't like. I don't like video editing. I don't like advertising. I don't like feeling like I need to have it all together before I go live. I don't like, the culture where you feel like you need to do a new fancy debut every 8 months. I don't like playing a character. I don't like having to, like, prepare for a concert. I'd much rather just show up with my viola and my voice and just, like, be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do music. Gonna do the music live. I don't like having to plan streams ahead of time. I don't like having to, play up my connection with my audience. I don't like having to market myself to be on a pedestal. There's so many things I don't like about, like, regular aspiring pro indie content. So, yeah, do as I say, not as I do, exactly. I know how to train someone in this. I am learning every day more on how to train someone in this. But I, myself, only want to do this. I only want to be a hobbyist. And I'm having so much more fun as a hobbyist than I ever did when I was, like, trying to constantly audition. Oh, that's the other thing. I hate auditions. Oh my gosh, I hate auditions. Oh my gosh, I hate doing them. Oh, they're so bad. Okay. So. Oh. Constantly having to look for opportunities that further their what is it called? What is it called when someone needs, like, social credit? Not social credit. Oh my gosh. They need clout? Clout. Is there a nicer word than clout? No. You know what? We're just gonna be direct and call it clout. Not social credit. I'm so glad I'm a hobbyist. Yeah, clout, visibility, reputation. Thank you, everyone. So, for instance, you're gonna have to work with people you hate. And you're gonna have to beg them for opportunities. And that skews things. I'm gonna tell you, that inflates so many creators' egos where they feel like they can be jerks because they are worth working with. So they become super turbo jerks and treat everyone underneath them like dirt because they're like, well, I have people clawing to work with me or collab with me once or be a part of my 80-person Marvel Rivals X Idol concert event that I put on every year. I'm so bad at this. You have to constantly be like, aspiring indies, man, you gotta constantly be looking for opportunities that just give you an ounce of, like, credibility. Yeah, credibility is what I was looking for, which is why I said social credit. Okay. So yeah, it is. And then you've gotta, like, hire staff if you can't handle it all. But then you have to delegate all those tasks to the staff. Which, I don't know. I don't know if people realize how much that is. Like, just the delegation part is stress. Like, having to know what in your team needs to be done by who, and then keeping track of all of that. Being track of everything, honestly. This is why, like, some corpo VTubers keep going from corpo to corpos because they don't want to have to keep track of everything themselves. Oh yeah, the other thing is legal. Gotta do things legally. It's scary. Gotta do everything legally. Find access to resources. 3D studios. To all of your production, find access and budget to all of your production, all aspects. This is not English. All aspects of your production. Oh my gosh, so like 3D studios, 3D, just modelers, riggers, animators, specialists, so many people. You gotta find access to those people. A lot of them only work with people with enough credibility. I'm just gonna put cred. No, is that too gangster? Credibility. Credibility. I just don't want to have to say it over and over again. So yeah, I would say aspiring pro indie. And I will try. I'm gonna try to stop, like, just talking about VTubers. For the final draft of this, I'm gonna try, oh yeah, 3D stages. Modelers, riggers, animators, specialists, so many things. Lawyers. Marketing team. Managers. Merch companies. There's so much to manage. A lot of them won't even work with you unless you have, if you know someone. It's really hard, because honestly, the amount of legit businesses who can work with indies in this industry is way too small. Yeah. So, when you think of the aspiring pro indie category, now you're maybe starting to it might be starting to make sense in your head as to why a lot of these aspiring pros go corpo. Because they think it's gonna be like the answer to all their problems. Right? Because they're like, surely, if I was just in a corpo, all of this would be handled for me. Okay, I don't know why I'm crashing out so hard on this stream. Anyways. Corpos. Okay, benefits to corpo. I'm gonna list them right off the bat. I've had a hard time, honestly, when I only managed corpo VTubers, I was like, indie is the future, because surely it's gonna be easier to have the freedom. There's a place for corpos. I'm just gonna say it. First of all, good corpos. Let's just say, assuming the corpo is good. Legal team. Merch team. Manager. At least someone to help with PR. Brand figured out for you. Which is a pro and a con. Professional designers, riggers, and then credibility off the bat. Yeah. Oh, conventions! Oh, okay, we're gonna go back to the pro indie. Managing con appearances by yourself is dangerous. And then also, like, no easy way to handle legal stuff. Legal stuff anonymously. Yeah. Managing convention appearances by yourself is dangerous. That is why, when I went to conventions this year, I didn't say anything until I was safely home. If I ever do get to do a convention thing, it's gonna be with a group, and it's gonna be as my VTuber model. Because it's scary. Yeah. Yeah, Giga said they're a money sink. They're a money sink, but they also give street cred. I'm just gonna put dangerous and costly. Cool dude, thank you, and welcome to the Bat Bunch. Okay. Assuming the corpo is good, a legal team manage convention appearances. I'm just gonna put events. That's a big one. Concerts, con appearances, big creator events. Like, people just wanna work with you. Oh, that's the other thing. Music stuff. Yeah. Music projects. Editors. There's so many things. There are so many things that go into these. Guys, there's so many aspects that go into VTuber content creation that no one thinks about. If a corpo can get this figured out for you, you actually have time to create. That's the other thing. Another con. You have no free time. Yeah, why did I think trying to build this task list on Mix It Up was a smart idea? Why do I do this to myself? I'm so sorry. Hello, Rodrigo Rodriguez. Welcome to the Bat Punch. Crossover events. Oh, like sponsorships. There's just people who want to work with you when you got a corpo. Like, corpo people talk to other corpo people. You just get opportunities thrown your way. Opportunities are a lot more accessible under a corpo label. And then, like, brand is handed to you. You've got staff helping you keep your brand clean. People helping you research what is good for the algorithm. And then the other big thing is legal team. If your channel goes down, you've got people to help you with that. If like, you get scammed, your accounts get phished / hacked, contracts, people who handle contracts, the bad thing is also a lot. You still have to pay for a lot of it. There are literally agency VTubers in debt to their company after a 3D concert. And MV / 3D concert. The standards and work ethic are impossibly high. And you're gonna get pressured by the environment to not take any breaks or take care of yourself. Exploitation runs rampant in this industry. You don't own what you create. Oh, the other positive in corpos is that how do I say this? You are considered a certified good creator by default. Because you've got the agency's seal of approval by passing the audition. Oh, collabs are less sketchy too, yeah. Good for the algorithm, what collabs would be good for your brand. Exploitation, you don't own what you create, but agency audiences are diehard. They are diehard fans. May have found a community command to save myself the headache I can actually look and learn from instead of working extremely janky tutorial. Let's go. You have access to all the artists at your fingertips, really. Because working with corpos looks good on their own portfolios. You don't own what you create, but you still paid for all of it, or most of it. You have to stay on the company's good side or else. Red flag agencies exist. NDAs. Independent contractor work doesn't give you employee benefits. I'm just gonna say you have to are legally obligated to keep private, not mention personal, anything about your personal life. No, we're not going to talk about most things about your personal life. Acting authentic, but still playing a character is expected. Yeah. The sad thing is, I'm not gonna name names, but recently, we've seen a lot of corpo VTubers going indie and then mentioning that they got married. And the sad thing is that the indie community is totally cool with it, but, like... Oh, yeah. Like... Pay is often below minimum wage. Sorry, what was I saying about... Oh, yeah. Corpos have made it the standard. No model upgrades when you want them. Like a lot of the stuff. But, like... by having, like, the diehard idol audience, your corpo will make the decision for you. Because your reputation is intertwined with everyone else. Oh, that's another downside. Well, it's like a double-edged sword. Repu is inter with everyone else. Good or bad. Okay, sorry. Let me finish my point. Let me keep my bat brain on one topic for a little bit. So, we see a lot of these, indie VTubers who used to be in corpo announcing that they not only have had partners for the past few years, but now they are married and or having kids. A lot of them joined in their early 20s while they were in the dating phase. And then as the years have gone on, a lot of the people in their early to mid-20s are now in their mid to late 20s, where a lot of young adults are settling down, and it just makes me sad to think about these creators who would have otherwise talked about their family life with their audience being barred from it and in fact getting punished for it. One of the more known VTubers who went indie, they were against parasocial, like the more parasocial aspects, and were uncomfortable with the lengths that their audience would go to control the streamer and like the ideas that they had of the streamer. And they said on stream when they were still corpo, they literally said, I need you guys to understand that you will never date me. Probably speculation time. She probably had a partner at that point in her life. She had someone to go home to. And she said, you guys need to understand, you will never date me. And that was controversial at that point. She's like, I love you guys. I really appreciate your guys' support, but I need you guys to understand that like, I am virtual, you will never date me. I think she said part of it in lore. And it makes me a lot sad. It like makes me more sad to think that she had a partner at that point, and she was probably thinking of her partner when she said that. And then, you know, she got so much backlash from the corpo she was in. Like, the fans of the corpo, not the, like, she didn't get reprimanded that I know of, you know? To the point where she did, like, a semi-apology of that statement. And then when she becomes indie, she's like, by the way, guys, you know, I'm happy to announce that I'm married. And everyone, the majority of everyone is cool with it in the indie community. So, like, die hard, double-edged sword. So yeah. That's more or less what I have to say. Recap each section. Probably gonna make a chart to recap each section. Oh, I should probably put, like... No. Okay. My problem, and the reason why I have struggled to upload actual, what is it called? Actual video essays, is because I always bloat my video essays with so much information because I'm afraid that I'm gonna forget one little aspect and then be like, I should have mentioned this. I need to remind myself that I don't have to remember every single little detail and mention every single little detail, you know? Hi, Tanya. Welcome on in. So yeah. Recapping each section. Okay, my final thoughts. This is where I'm okay with people clicking off, because I'm gonna talk about me. I have been all of these, and I like Hobbyist. I think it's the best deal. Something to be said about maybe grinding as a aspiring pro first and then coasting once you've accumulated a bit of a following. What else can I say in my final thoughts that is my opinion and not super biased? Oh yeah. This industry needs a huge change if corpos are gonna remain viable, because they're just not good to work for on the staff or the, oh, you guys can't see, or the VTuber side right now. Oh, Hobbyist, other con. You need to work full time and balance VTubing. Real life comes first, and it can make it so that you go for months without streaming. Yeah. So, what? Oh, here's the other thing I'm gonna say. People who can actually sand themselves down to be marketable are a small percentage of the population. I found out the hard way that I am not one of them. Oh. Also, knowing which of your goals, or knowing your goals as a, knowing what you want as a creator will should change your approach and mindset going in. Okay, here's the other thing. Nothing needs... I know, I'm going back and forth. Now you can see why my, like, I don't draft scripts on I don't draft scripts on stream because I feel like I bounce in between things all the time and it's really hard to follow my train of thought, but this is actually how it goes. I bounce in between all the topics, which is why I just, like, create the outline so that I can see the title and I can just add things where they belong. And then afterwards, after this, I can, like, organize it into actual thought. Showerhead reference? Kinda? Yeah. I mean, freak accidents happen to even corpo VTubers. Pray to use my... Oh, nothing needs to be good. And marketable. The goal is to have fun. Okay. And your content goals. It should shape every aspect of every decision you make. With the exception of corpo, you can decide what category you want to put yourself in at any time and switch between them depending on your life stage or your life stage circumstances. Yeah. And here's the thing I'm not gonna put in the video because I want it to be very positive, but I'm just gonna say it here because we've been spicy today. So this is the Yam Albat exclusive take here. It is so much easier to be a creator when you've got a lot of money and you're just sitting on money. Aspiring pro indie is it's playing life on hard mode if you do not have funds. It is playing life on hard mode. Let me just say it right away. The whole reason I do not charge indies very much is because all of their money, all of their extra money is going towards editors, it's going towards model riggers, it's going, like, these people are eating instant ramen just to push out original songs, animated music videos, getting a 3D concert together. These people are trashing their health for their goal. And it would all be solved if they just had money to pay other people to do it on a regular basis. VTubing is too expensive. I'm just gonna say it outright. We're having a lot of, like, down to, I don't even call this down to earth, but we're having a lot of talks today. VTubing is too expensive, guys. It is. We need to stop holding ourselves to corpo standards because VShojo ran out of money, guys. $11 million. And they couldn't do it. They literally couldn't keep themselves afloat with that much money. So, it's too expensive. Too expensive. And I'm not saying that means don't pay your artists. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the standard should be that we need less art. We need less, animated, full animation. You know? Pretty sure I could figure out some kind of net positive with 11 million. I'm glad. But it's not gonna look as spectacular. You're gonna have a lot less spectacle. Bring down expectations, bring back down spectacle. Let's write that in the script. Oh, you guys can't see the bottom of the script. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Bring down spectacle. Where's the place where I talked about industry needs to change? Okay. Industry needs to focus less on spectacle and crazy projects with less ROI. I think we fall in love with the spectacle of corpos. We do. I'm the first one to say I fell in love with the spectacle of corpos. I did. But it's not real. It's not real. And we've kind of like, sorry to shatter everyone's dreams here, but it's been proven that the spectacle is not real and sustainable. Yeah. Hi, Aze. Aze? Emba! Oh my gosh, look at these people who are watching my crash out on corporate spectacle. I feel like part of the reason why VTuber companies were so spectacle-based is because they needed investors to feel like the dream was real, and they needed fans to believe the dream was real. So they kept up spectacle over... They honestly also needed the talents to believe the dream was real. So they kept up spectacle over things that actually made sense, like paying people, you know? Aze, how are you doing? Oh, yeah. I'm doing well. We're talking about how I write my scripts, and this script is currently pro versus hobbyist versus corpo creators. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So I'm just gonna say spectacle was only invented to sell the unrealistic dream to investors, fans, and creators alike. Yeah. We need to be okay with reusing art. We need to be okay with having the same model for over a year. We need to be okay with free-to-use overlays as long as you credit. We need to be okay with having not a million toggles on your VTuber model. We need to be okay with having a PNG tuber. We need to be okay with all these things, you know, as a community. Because, honestly, dealing with, like, dealing with the expectations coming from an audience that is expecting unsustainable business practices is wild. We have literally seen that it's not sustainable. Even agencies like Hololive, they've had to pare back on what they can offer. They've also had to pare back on freedom. Okay, allegedly, in Minecraft, and also I don't work at Hololive, and I have no contacts at Hololive. I can't say this is true or not, but it seems from the outside. It seems from the outside that Hololive has had to get to be less free and more controlling to make sure that the ROI of their spectacular events is there. Yeah. If you don't spend 3K on your model, you will never break through. Yeah. I've been a proponent of free-to-use models since Vroid beta, and it's only getting better, you know? If I'm making mouth sounds, it's because Mama Bat made me a smoothie. Hololive has been cracked lately, yes. But only for the creators who are return on investment. That's the other thing about a corpo. Favoritism is necessary. I'm gonna say it right here. I used to be someone who was like, corpos need to be cold and unfair to survive. Favoritism is necessary. It is true. You gotta put the eggs in the lucrative talent's basket, because the ones who aren't making the money, if you spend the money on the ones that aren't making the money, you're gonna fail as a business. It is true. And I hate it. I hate it. Before I worked for agencies, I was like, they're so unfair to the Hollow Stars. But, like, also, it is... Hollow Stars... I don't know, like... It's less about sexism and more about business. And that sucks. Because it's like a catch-22! It's a catch-22! Male VTubers are less lucrative because they have less of an audience. But in order to get that audience, someone has to take a chance on them and spend money that they don't expect to get back. Right? So it's like a catch-22 of like, how do we make the company successful while also uplifting our creators who are a money sink? I hate that they're a money sink. And eventually, they wouldn't be a money sink. Because every single person who is in Hololive and Hollow Stars, they are fantastic, they're super talented, they were selected for their talent. Yeah. Male indies have more quality than corpos, if I'm honest. Yes, they do. And I don't know where to put this in, but I want to talk about somewhere I want to put something about friendships versus business partners. I want to just tap on this, because with hobbyists, it's only friendships. With hobbyists, there is no such thing as a business partner. You play with your friends. You don't need to worry about what's strategic. But as an independent trying to go pro and or a corporate VTuber, who you associate with is super important to your brand. And I feel like the community doesn't understand this. I need to put it in... You basically... Yeah. So, I don't know where I'm gonna put it in the video, but I need to talk about friendships versus business partners, and the reason why people keep getting canceled over it. Not to get into, like, this isn't, like, about a specific drama, after all, but, like, there's, like, a pattern that every 3 months, a new creator will get a Google Doc written about them, talking about how they were just in it for the fame and they weren't a good friend. And I can't really take those Google Docs seriously because honestly, these creators act like they do not have any strategic acquaintances and or friendships, you know? Anyone, like, I'm gonna say it right out. I do outreach to creators who I think would make good business partners. Sometimes it's like a single time collab. Sometimes we never collab. Sometimes it's just like a networking thing. Other times we become best of friends. But at the end of the day, we're friends in the business sense a lot of the time. I have friends who are not, like, involved business-wise at all. My main friend group from VTubing has been the same since the beginning. I have my friend group, Cyber Tiger, Lasso Katsudi, Otori Azu. A lot of them have graduated, but Kana Yumeru, you know. A lot of them aren't VTubers anymore, but the core friend group has stayed the same regardless of what everyone's up to. I've seen high schoolers now graduate from college. You know, oh yeah, Mono. Mono is another amazing one. That friend group, we're all doing our jobs. We've all, like, done various jobs and supported each other through life. None of us are playing characters together. A lot of us, you know, we're all hobbyists, so I think I've got, like, 1 professionally minded, maybe 2 professionally minded friends in that group. Everyone else, you know, we just hang out, you know? And those are the people I can trust the most. Yeah, friendships without clout or business involved are the people you can actually trust. It's just how it is. Or we bond over music and or viola jokes. Heck yeah. See? Like, you've just gotta accept that, like, you can be friends with your coworkers, but the friendship itself is in the context of the business slash connection slash networking. And a lot of the times when a VTuber graduates, those are the friendships that didn't continue. And people will be like, wow, such a fake friend. I don't know what you expected. Like, okay, I'm not victim blaming, right? I'm not victim blaming. But when making a networking friendship, you should expect that this friendship is in the context of a business. So it's professional, and a lot of people, when they are given a better business opportunity, they're going to leave the friendship and go for the better business opportunity. Yeah. It is what it is. And you have to kind of tell your brain, the majority of the friends you make in the VTubing sphere are going to be in the context of business connection networking. Yeah. Yeah, it's literally work friends. Once you quit that job, you stop being friends with those people from that job. A lot of the times, yeah. And you just kind of have to have that mentality, you know? Suppose when it comes to business relationships and stuff, just being honest about one thing. I don't like Google Docs and stuff about people being actively mean or sabotaging. A lot of the time, I feel like whenever you are talking about your relationship issues publicly to try and destroy the reputation of another person, that is unprofessional. It's unprofessional behavior. It's normalized but unprofessional. Oh, that's another thing. You can be as unprofessional as you want. Heck yeah. Once you're an aspiring indie, you really gotta, or aspiring pro, gotta act professional to maintain your reputation. And then when you are a corpo, you are legally obliged to be legally mandated to be professional at all times. Yeah. A lot of people have this, like, because people in corpos, they know authenticity sells. They know authenticity sells. So they don't want, like, think of like the Wendy's brand. So you gotta fake a brand-friendly authenticity. You really do. You gotta fake... You can take parts of your life and, like, spin them to be within the parameters of this fake authenticity, but you really do gotta be fake authentic. For your protection, the corpo's protection, and the Disney magic. Yeah. Also, aspiring pros need to keep documents, sometimes just in case. Yeah. Let me... Need to organize everything themselves. All the consequences of your own actions are on you. If you get in trouble, no one can really help. So yeah. VTubing is like being Hannah Montana. Yeah. Like fake authenticity. It can be really little things, like character kayfabe things, like small characters having to be like, when they meet in real life, they've gotta, even if they're like 5'6", they've gotta be, everyone in their generation is like, oh my gosh, she's actually like 4'11" in real life. I can't believe how small so-and-so is. She's just a small little bean. And she really talks like that. Of course, that's just her natural voice. And she really, you know, she really is just like her character. Like, that is what I call fake authenticity. You've got to sell that Disney magic to your audience. That Disney magic. It's the part I can't do. Pro indies can fall into this Disney magic category, but not all the time. There are some authentic, genuine pro indies that are just being themselves, and they know how to market themselves as themselves. But with corpos, honestly, the Disney magic, the fake authenticity, is for your own protection. And so that you can fit in the context of a generation. That's the other thing. Fit into the context of your generation. Can't publicly disagree with anyone anymore. Yeah. Really. It is like, even if your character is almost yourself, you've gotta, like, there's a huge thing, there's so many things you can't do. Yeah. Okay, so conclusions. Let's see. Though I tend to think about Spider-Man with how VTubers keep their identity a secret. That's how my parents put it. I put it as that I'm a puppeteer, you know. Corpo for sure creates fake friendship that is just being professional. It is literally to the benefit of the corpo that everyone has to act like friends, at least positive acquaintances. Conclusion: to shut diehard corpo defenses, you don't want to be better for your Oshi. Yeah. I've kind of given up on trying to reason with certain people, you know. Alright, on the other hand, Hollow tries to keep 3D models close for mocap purposes, right? See, Ina's 3D debut and the hug mismatch. Do send that to me, I'm not really sure, yeah. But yeah. That is my thoughts. I might add more to this, like, thoughts. I'm gonna try my best to make an objective chart out of this. As objective as possible. But you know me, you guys know my bias. Thank you, Rigel, and hello. But yeah. I feel like hobbyists, like, there's unfair aspects to all of this, right? Hobbyists, you got no pressure, you can do whatever you want, but you have to work full-time and balance VTubing. Aspiring pros got more freedom than a corpo for sure, but in order to be safe for the algorithm, you still got to be within your PR limits. don't want to get canceled. And the real downside is you have no free time because you have to coordinate all of this all by yourself. Corpo, you get the assistance you need, assuming it's a good corpo. However, like, you've got, like, the whole world at your fingertips, opportunities are accessible, brands want to work with you, but then you've got a fake authenticity, there's so many risks of bad corpos and exploitation. Don't get yourself canceled making this. I'm a hobbyist. I can do what I want. I know, there's gonna be fallout. Every time I make one of these, there's, like, fallout, but someone's gotta say it, you know? And I feel like I'm in a unique position to say it just because I've seen all of these mentalities, and I've worked with people in honing all of these mentalities, you know? So instead of having the conversation of, like, which of these is better, which of these is the best, and making a blanket statement, you know what, I'm gonna actually add this. We can't make blanket statements on which one of these is the best. We need to look at individual cases. Which one is the best for me? Yeah. I've seen some things, yeah, for sure. She and a JP talent went to hug each other, and Ina was apparently taller than her guest. Through the guest model, though the guest model was taller, which resulted in, yes. I see. Hollow tries to keep 3D models close. Oh, like close in height for mocap purposes. So technically, yeah. But I feel like they exaggerate the amount of closeness and height to protect their Disney magic of saying that, like, Gura and Kobu are, like, actually so short that people mistake them as kids and stuff like that. It could be true. It could be true, but it's also very convenient Disney magic, you know? That kind of thing. Hollow benefits from their audience fantasizing that the real girls behind the models look like the models. They just do benefit from that Disney magic. So anytime someone talks about, like, how it really works in Hololive and stuff, I assume that they're talking about their job in a fiction context, you know? I feel like there's Hololive the fictional context and then Hololive the real context. And we can definitely talk about Hololive the fictional context where Coco the dragon crashed into the corporate building and everyone's friends. And that is true because Hololive in the Hololive universe is that way. Whenever I hear about things from the talents as to how the corporation actually works, I do remind myself that they will only say things that benefit their Disney magic and their brand image. It doesn't mean it's not true, but a lot of the times it means it's either selectively true or within the context of the VTuber universe of their character. Yeah. So that's how I feel. Hot topic conversations do scare me, but Yam seems reasonable about it. Yeah, I try to be reasonable. Welcome to the Bat Bunch. I gotta say something, because I feel like at this point, I don't want to do video essays anymore, but I feel like in order for my video library to make sense in my current lens, I want people to re-evaluate my videos within this lens of some of my advice is for hobbyists, some of it is for people who want to go pro, and others is for corpo. And depending on who you are, is the kind of advice that I've given that you should listen to. For instance, my character design video might help a hobbyist, but really it was meant for the aspiring pros. I don't want hobbyists to overthink their model. I know that girl's talent doesn't look like her, but pick out what has been so consistent as to be most likely true. Girl being short, Callie being strong, Bay being Australian. Yes. But I also know that, like, it would be... Okay, I'm not gonna say names. But there have been corpo VTubers who went from one corpo playing a very tall and mature character to another corpo playing a lolly, like really short, really cutesy character. I'm not gonna name names, but that is a thing that happens as corpos trade talents or corpos go defunct or stuff like that. And I'm gonna say for sure that they say different things about themselves to line up with their character. Yeah. And now that I've been to Offkai, I can also say that, like, it's kind of funny. VTubers either just recreate themselves in model form, like their real life self in model form, and I can, like, immediately identify, like, oh my gosh, you look like your model. Or they kind of go the exact opposite. They kind of go the exact opposite, and it's like, the way their model looks, everything about their, like, appearance is completely different. Their body type, their height, like, you've got these tiny people wanting to be big and curvy and buff and stuff, and then you've got these, like, really, like, big, buff people being, like, acting, or wanting to be the tiny, small people. It's, like, to play a character that they don't get to do in real life, to wear the clothes they don't get to wear in real life, you know, that kind of thing. So, you never know with VTubers, and, you know, a lot of them... I will say that, like, when I have someone that I've met IRL, but they talk to their audience a certain way about how their real life is, I will ask ahead of time to make sure that I'm representing their real life, like, kayfabe that they've given their audience correctly. So, definitely Disney magic. Like, as much as we would love to take everything a VTuber says about their real life and at face value, we cannot, because they cannot give us everything at face value. Yay. Okay, I think I'm done. I think I said everything I wanted to say. If you guys have anything to add to the script while I'm working on it, let me know. You can comment it on the VOD, or you can join my Discord. Oh, one more thing. Let me erase the window capture for a second, and then go to my Twitter. I have one more thing to talk about. Let's go to my Twitter. I'm really glad I hid that, because there was booty on the screen the moment I opened Twitter. Okay. So I've got, two things from my own community. First of all, Analog August. Right now, my Discord community and Princess's Discord community are both participating in Analog August, which means we are sharing a little bit about our analog hobbies in our Discords. It's super low commitment. Here is my Discord if you'd like to join my Discord to join us. I've been talking about sewing and listening to music. I have not had time to do anything else, but I have definitely spent more time with people and friends. Oh, I went to the movies, that kind of thing. So, that's the first one. I know the Twitch link on my Twitch profile is expired, FYI. Yes, that's why I linked it in chat. I'm so sorry. I haven't updated my Twitch in a long time. The other thing is, I was talking about how hard it is to get work for me in the corporate setting as a VTuber manager slash project manager. And so I'm trying to lean more into my small management business. But like I said, I still want to give like indies more of a fair price. So I'm gonna try and go down some creative avenues on how to market myself as a manager and also how to, what's it called? How to offer more services that are more valuable to creators so that I can myself eat well and take care of myself. So right now I am toying with the idea of starting a debut coordinator service where I basically come alongside VTubers, especially in the aspiring pro category, who want an event planner-esque type thing. Like, think of like a wedding planner or a party planner type service, but for their debut. I would try to more or less like handle the communications with the artists, coordinate all the dates, make sure everything's done on time, handle any crises along the way, make sure the merch is done at the same time as the model, as the emotes, as the overlays, help give direction in the marketing, help run the marketing campaign, and help with the getting the word out, that kind of thing. So I'm thinking of that idea, but I have no idea kind of like where to price it, how many months of a service this should be. So right now, I have this interest check. It's on my YouTube channel, my Blue Sky, and also my Twitter. And I'm trying to hear from VTubers who are planning their own debuts right now, because I would like to do a few free test runs with creators so that I can understand kind of the workload and where I should be pricing this at. Because if I price it too high or low before I've even had experience doing it, it might turn out to be a lot of free work or, you know, that kind of thing. This is going to be more of a luxury service. I'm definitely just going to say that right off the bat. I'm trying to price myself in a living wage sort of thing. Whereas with indie management, I am less comfortable doing that in general, just because like the day-to-day stuff, just being there for a VTuber in like an hour-long meeting, I don't feel comfortable paying it or asking for hundreds for that. But with this, I think that I could offer enough value in a very stressful time for VTubers when they're already, you know, expecting to pay money for this aspect of their content creation, that I could make it worthwhile for them to pay, you know, a bit more than like a regular management situation. You do deserve to be able to make a living from your work and have it be fair for the value and offer the situations you have to handle. Yeah, and I will say that planning a debut by yourself on the scale that is expected can be very, very, very stressful. Oh, debut, I must have been tired. I wonder why you were offering a debt coordinator service, which halfway made sense, as those preparations would be. Yeah, it would leave someone in a bit of debt. Yeah. So, this is just like, I would hope that this would become like not a replacement for any, like, of the regular services I offer indies. However, I would like to, you know, I would like to offer more luxury services as well, in hopes that I don't have to keep getting corporate jobs. But, for now, I just ask if you are a VTuber and you are planning more of a debut, like a full debut with like a model and several projects that you need to keep track of, and you would like to know more or less how to market it. Also, my phone died, so Yam also died. If you're looking for like a more large scale type thing, I'm currently just kind of running an interest check on this service, how many people would be interested in it. Yeah. No idea how much it should cost. That is why, with my interest check, I plan on timing myself the entire lab rat phase of, like, for free. I'm going to be timing myself how long it takes to do everything, and how stressful the crises are. That way I know kind of where to price this. Because I know my hourly rate, that is my goal hourly rate. You know? And if I can just make a little bit more than my hourly rate minimum wage in California, I will be pretty happy with that. Yeah. Maybe the top 5% or less of indies are rich. The vast majority struggle to make a living wage when they try doing this as a job. Yep. They were rich before debut because they can afford high-quality, expensive rigs. Exactly. Exactly. Okay. Well, Yam is dead. And so am I. So I think this is where we call it here today, Bat Bunch. I'm gonna put my phone over on a charger. Yeah, be careful of how much you give yourself in a free trial setting. I really only plan on doing this once or twice for free. And if I can be real with my audience, I'm looking for a very specific case of VTuber debut where enough is being planned that it would make sense to hire me in that case. You know? If it's just a new model, it's gonna be less of an interesting case for me to work on than someone who is, like, doing a full rebrand and wants to do marketing, and it has a lot less to do with, like, your numbers or your what have you. I've seen people put together crazy debuts for completely free, and it has a lot more with just, like, how much is this person trying to coordinate, right? So I really just want to see how this goes, and if I think it goes well, then I'm going to offer this as more of a luxury service than, say, my indie consultations of just, like, a regular brand consultation where we more or less just, like, talk about your VTuber design and, like, your branding and stuff. This is gonna be more of a, like, okay, in order to get a return on investment on this debut, what are we going to do in order to push before, push after, how can we strategically market this debut, what are the things that need to get done for this debut, that kind of stuff. So, if you do not get picked for the free trial, it is nothing personal, and it has nothing to do with, like, your follow count, or anything like that. I'm just looking for a very specific use case with a very specific time frame, and if someone has a match, then I will contact them privately. Yeah. So I'm gonna go through these like in a little bit. A service to help keep the debut checklist in order. Yeah, a full content calendar kind of service where it's like, okay, check in with this artist on this day. Okay, the emails should be done on this day. Okay, we're gonna do a media tour before your debut to make sure people know to come to your debut. Okay, now that you've debuted, we need to make sure that we've got a full week of interesting clippable content lined up, and we've got editors ready to clip that, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. I don't think I can. I'm slowly self-making the model to save money. Exactly. That is you know, where I am too. And I really want to know, I think the main thing that's kind of killing me in like trying to figure out how to price this is, do I price it by the week, by the month? Do I price it as one big package and however long it takes to debut, it takes to debut? I don't really know like how to go about pricing it. I'm starting to lean towards month, like a monthly fee, so that if things get like mega delayed, I'm not like on the hook for 3 extra months of work, you know? But if I charge enough for one flat fee, you know, a package is more attractive. Yeah, so it's kind of hard for me to price it. We will see. But anyway, that's just me yammering. Feel free to express your own interests in that, and I'm gonna raid out on Twitch, and we will say goodbye to YouTube. So thank you everybody so much for watching over on YouTube, and as always, take care, Bat Bunch. Ooh, a tiered package. That might work out. Alright, raid, channel, quick filter.